Hi guys, I'm Noam.
And I'm Justin. We've been comparing spread betting providers for 3 years in a row, and we've been looking to the latest when it comes to Forex and CFD trends.
In this video, we're going to go over Vantage, one of only 16 spread betting providers offering their wares in the UK in 2026. All right, Justin, let's go over Vantage. They are ranked 14th out of 16 spread betting brokers in the UK in 2026 on our spreadbet.co.uk website. But before we go into the review specifically, do you want to maybe just give people a bit of an overview into the spread betting niche in the UK as it plays out in 2026?
Sure. So spread betting is a global phenomenon, but it's really only popular in UK and a little bit in Ireland, and that's due to some tax advantages. So if you make a profit on CFD trading, Forex trading versus spread betting, the tax component can be much lower, if not minimal. But again, we're not going to give tax advice. You should seek your own tax advice, but definitely that's behind the popularity. But that said, it still is a niche, and therefore there's only 16 brokers that offer spread betting this year.
Okay, so let's go into the crux of the review. From the outset, I'm going to say we've only provided Vantage with a score of 40 out of 100, which is very frank and quite brutal. We've ranked them 14th out of the 16 spread betting providers in the UK. Let's start with fees, because that's one that, most people are interested in specifically, because obviously fees eats into the profitability of people's trading. We've only given them a score of 2 out of 10. What didn't you like about Vantage when it comes to their fees?
Sure. So you might think this is a bit harsh because when their average spread across the majors is 1.54, whereas the industry average is 1.53. So 0.01 difference. It's basically the same. So it's like, well, why would you give them such a low score? And it's really looking at which one of the majors to spread betting individuals trade the most. So let's say the Euro USD, that's the most traded. Their spread is at 1.4. The industry average is 1. And then when you look at the Euro, then when you look at the pound to the USD, when you look at the AUD to the USD, the Euro to the Japanese yen, it's a similar story where the spreads are between 20 and 50% more. So again, this is what people are trading the most. The spreads are high. Yes, some of the more exotic currencies, etc., they do have more competitive spreads, but as I mentioned before, they're traded less. And then another negative is that they require a £15 minimum deposit, whereas a lot of the other spread betting providers offer a lot less. So yes, there's no deposit and withdrawal fees, but it's the spreads which are really the fees, and therefore that result in the lowest score.
Okay, so that was a score of 2 out of 10 for fees. The next category that we looked at was range of markets, and we've given them a middle of the road score of 5 out of 10. What did we like? What didn't we like?
So they offer 100 instruments total. Now, let's compare this to someone like, let's say, Pepperstone Spread XIG. They're ranging in the thousands, like up to 2,500 instruments. Now, part of the reason is going to come down to the trading platform, which I'll talk about a bit later, but generally the one that they offer doesn't actually have share spread betting facility. So obviously that is not on offer. Then you look at something like stock indices. Look, they offer 19, which is pretty good. But for commodities, they only offer 23. That's 7 energy, 7 softs, 9 metals, middle of the road. And with Forex pairs, they offer just over 40. So again, quite limited. You look at someone like SpreadX who have, they even offer crypto, which is really quite interesting with FCA restrictions. But generally, if you just want to trade the basics, they've got you covered. But if you're looking to trade more exotic markets, they just don't offer it. And you'd be much rather better suited with someone like a NIG, a SpreadX, or a Pepperstone.
Okay, so that was a 5 out of 10 for markets. The next category that we looked at was platforms. And again, we've only given them a score of 5 out of 10, so exactly middle of the line. What did we not like about platforms when it comes to Vantage?
Okay, if we're going to start with what we don't like. We don't like the fact that they don't offer MT5, they don't offer TradingView, they don't have their own proprietary platform. So the choice is very limited. The newer platforms are not being offered that a lot of spread betting individuals that we talk to much prefer. What they do offer is the old school, the MetaTrader 4. And MetaTrader 4, it used to be the most popular platform. I'm not sure in 2026 if it still is, but it certainly looks very dated. The charting's dated. It does have some amazing expert advisors, which is automation. So it's very easy to make your own programs and trade and use strategies such as scalping. And what they do is they offer smart trader tools. So they're offering additional EAs. They're offering 30 plus trading indicators. You can do your own custom indicators. You can, and with automated trading. So really, if you're going to use MT4, the smart trader tools that they offer really put it on steroids, and it's really quite good. What I also find quite frustrating is that when you mobile trading with the MT4 app, the charts don't sync between desktop and mobile. So if you're a person that only trades on mobile or only trades on desktop, fine. But if you're going to sync between the two, no good. And their execution speed is kind of middle of the range between 100 and 250 milliseconds. They don't offer some added benefits like guaranteed stop loss. That's just not offered. So 5 out of 10, you probably think that's fair based on what I said. But if you love MT4, it probably should be a 9. If you don't like MT4, it's probably a 1. That's how we ended up with the score.
Okay, so the next category that we looked at was trust, and this is where they perform the best. We've given them a score of 7 out of 10 here. Obviously, Vantage are a large broker. They operate worldwide. But what do we like about Vantage specifically, and why do we give them a score of 7 out of 10?
Well, specifically, we like their Trustpilot reviews. So 4.3 out of 5 from over 12,000 reviews. That's a strong score for any broker. Most of them are like the high 3s, and they're a 4.3 with a sufficient amount. They have over 900,000 clients globally. They're one of the most searched spread betting platforms in the UK. Founded in 2009, and their FCA spread betting license was in 2013. So they've been operating for 13 years now. And they're also regulated here in Australia, in places like Vanuatu and in South Africa. So a pretty trusted, long-standing broker. But obviously, they're not as big as an IG, a CMC, a Spreadex. So that's why they lost a few scores, is that you can't compete with someone like an IG, for example, that have the strongest trust, the most traders, and the most kind of features around this area. So a very solid score. I wouldn't not trade with Vantage because they can't be trusted. They absolutely can be trusted. They've got a great reputation. There's just bigger brokers out there that specialize in spread betting a lot more.
Okay, so let's go back through each category, give the top line score, and I'll just get you to add one sentence about each one. When it comes to trust, we gave them a 7 out of 10. What did you like about Vantage?
FCA regulated, been around for a long time, 900,000 traders.
When it comes to platforms, we gave them a score of 5 out of 10. Where could they have improved?
Offer other platforms. MT4 is a bit dated now, and unless you love it, you'll probably want to use a different broker.
Range of markets, again, we only gave them a 5 out of 10. What didn't you like? What did you like?
They offer just over 100 instruments. Other brokers are offering thousands. So if you want to trade some more exotic markets, they're not going to be suitable for you.
And fees, we were quite brutal in giving them a 2 out of 10. What didn't you like about Vantage when it came to fees?
If you're going to trade the most popular currency pairs like the Euro USD, their fees are like about 40% more than other brokers like Pepperstone. So if you want lower trading costs, I would consider other brokers out there.
Alrighty, so that gives us an overall score of 40 out of 100, as I mentioned at the top of the video, for Vantage, and we've placed them 14th out of 16th on our list of spread betting providers in the UK in 2026. Guys, that's all we have time for. Please don't hesitate to like, share, and subscribe. And in the comment section down below, let us know what you thought of the score that we gave Vantage. Do you disagree? Do you agree? Are there any other platforms or providers that you want us to review for you to aid you on your trading journey in 2026 and beyond? Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video.
Thank you.